Hello and welcome to The Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled you're here. Today, we're zeroing in on something specifically for all you dedicated early childhood educators out there. If you've been working in the field for a bit and you're kind of looking at your next big professional leap, well, you are exactly in the right place. We're going to completely unpack the Early Childhood Education Post-Basic Infant Toddler Specialty Program.
So, I want you to ask yourself, are you actually ready to take your ECE career to the next level? A lot of educators hit a bit of a plateau after securing their basic certification. You've got the foundational experience, you love the day-to-day work, but you're probably looking for that specialized expertise and, frankly, the career advancement that really only comes with focusing on those critical earliest years of development. Well, this specialization is literally the ultimate solution for breaking right through that plateau.
Okay, let's dive into this roadmap. First, we'll cover stepping up your career, then getting in and explaining those requirements, unpack the infant-toddler curriculum, jump into the hands-on practicum experience, and finally, look at your future career path.
Section 1. Stepping up your career. The CDI College Infant Toddler Specialization. Now, what's really interesting here is how CDI College actually positions this program, this post-basic certificate. It is not for day one beginners. It's a direct extension of your foundational ECE training. It's specifically designed for students who are already certified early childhood educators, or, for folks who are just wrapping up their required 500 hours of basic work experience. It's entirely built to elevate the solid foundation you already have. And, hey, speaking of 500 hours, that is the exact total length of this post-basic program. Yep, 500 hours of dedicated, highly specialized training standing between you and your infant and toddler educator certificate. So it's a substantial commitment for sure. But it's very clearly defined.
So the real question is how you actually fit those 500 hours into your busy life, right? Well, the program is deliberately designed to be accessible for currently employed educators. You basically have two options, a full-time track taking 18 weeks or a part-time track stretching to 36 weeks, and both of those include a 6-week practicum. This flexibility is honestly fantastic because it totally acknowledges that many of you are already working full days in daycares and preschools right now.
Moving on to Section 2, Getting In, Requirements Explained. Basically, what you need to apply.
We all know bureaucracy can be a bit overwhelming. So let's just break this red tape down into two really clean buckets, academic and administrative. On the academic side, you just need proof of high school graduation, or to be a mature student aged 19 or older. Crucially, you need that completion of a basic early childhood education program, and you've got to prove English proficiency. Administratively, it's pretty standard stuff, an interview with the campus director, a current resume showing your work history, and 3 character references. Super manageable.
Now let's talk about that English proficiency requirement for a second, because the official document is pretty dense. But don't worry, there are incredibly clear pathways here. Whether you grew up here or you're coming in as an international student, there is absolutely a path for you. You can prove proficiency with 3 years of high school or 2 years of post-secondary education in an English-speaking country. If you don't happen to have that, you can use standardized test scores, like a 5.5 on the IELTS or a 95 on Duolingo. And for mature domestic students who might face, barriers accessing their old educational records, there is the AccuPlacer assessment option. They have truly made sure that language testing doesn't unfairly block qualified, passionate educators from advancing.
All right, Section 3, the infant-toddler curriculum. Let's look inside the classroom.
As you can see, the coursework is highly structured. You've got 6 core theory modules, and each one is exactly 50 hours long. You'll be covering everything from advanced child growth and interacting with families to program planning, admin skills, and advanced health, safety, and nutrition. Notice how all 300 hours of this intensive classroom theory directly support and build right towards that massive 200-hour practicum at the very end. Let's actually highlight that very first module, ECE 4000, because it really sets the tone for the whole shebang. This isn't just about memorizing textbook milestones. You are reviewing typical development from birth to 6 years, which includes recognizing children requiring additional support, but you're doing it using a case study approach. It's all about bridging current theory directly into practical, real-world application. And I just love this quote taken directly from the ECE 4020 course description. It says, "Working with infants and toddlers poses new challenges. This course will help the student develop the understanding and skills necessary for sensitive and respectful responding." That phrase right there, sensitive and respectful responding, is everything. It really underscores why specialized training is so utterly necessary for this highly vulnerable age group in group care settings.
Fun fact, this specific course even requires a 4-hour observation in a licensed center just to truly grasp that dynamic.
Section 4, Hands-on Practicum Experience, the 6-week real-world test.
Now, before you step foot into the practicum, or honestly even that ECE 40/20 observation I just mentioned, safety is paramount. You absolutely must have a clear criminal record check in accordance with the Criminal Records Review Act and an up-to-date immunization report provided by the college. Just a brief reminder, but obviously absolutely crucial for the safety of the children.
And this brilliantly illustrates what your 6 weeks out in the community will look like. It follows a highly structured work experience training plan. You start by just familiarizing yourself with the center's policies. Then you select one specific child for an in-depth child study. Over those first 3 weeks, you're observing and recording their gross motor, fine motor, cognitive, and social progress. And then, based on those observations, Step 4 requires you to actually present 5 targeted activities per week for that child. Finally, you'll be completing daily journals and ongoing self-evaluations. You are actively applying every single ounce of theory you learned in the classroom.
Which brings us to Section 5, Your Future Career Path, Graduation and Beyond. The metrics to secure your certificate are clear and super straightforward. To graduate, you just need a 60% overall average in your on-campus courses plus the successful completion of your practicum, which, by the way, is evaluated by your sponsor teacher and college faculty. Hit those marks and boom, the college certificate is yours.
But remember, the college certificate is really just the key that opens the main door. Once you successfully complete this training through a recognized institution in BC, you then take that and apply to the BC Early Childhood Educator Registry. This is how you gain your official industry-recognized certification as an ECE Infant/Toddler Educator, or an ITE. That right there is the ultimate goal.
And once you have that ITE certification in hand, the return on your 500-hour investment becomes incredibly clear. Just look at the new roles you unlock. You go from a basic worker to qualifying for positions like daycare supervisor, early childhood supervisor, preschool supervisor, and specialized daycare worker. You're essentially moving straight into leadership and highly specialized care roles. Which leaves us with one final thought. You've already put in your initial 500 hours of basic work experience to get to this exact point. You know the field, you know the absolute joy, and let's face it, the challenges of the classroom. So, are you ready to step up, take on this specialization, and truly lead in infant and toddler care? The pathway is right in front of you. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and I really hope this provided the clarity you need to go out there and take that next big step in your ECE career.